The Jewel Ornament of Liberation, the wish-fulfilling gem of the noble teachings by Gampopa. Beginning with the translator's introduction, this translation is by Khenpo Konchog Gyaltshen Rinpoche. I pay homage to all the root and lineage lamas. Please grant your blessings to me and to all sentient beings. Dharma Lord Gampopa, the author of the Jewel Ornament of Liberation, was fully accomplished in the teachings and practice of Buddhism, the philosophy taught by Shakyamuni Buddha circa 560 BCE. Gampopa studied the sutra system of training in the Kadampa lineage and obtained tantra training from the great saint Milarepa. Because he himself thus embodied the complete form of Buddhism, Lord Gampopa successfully established complete Buddhism in Tibet. His lineage of disciples pervaded the whole of Jambudvidpa and became the crown jewel of all Buddhism. He completely dispelled the darkness of confusion and reconciled all misunderstanding between the Sutra and Tantra systems. This is why among Milarepa's disciples he was declared to be like the sun. In reality, it was as if the Buddha himself had manifested again in human form. Therefore, Gampopa's teachings are recognized as being wholly pure and precious. Of the many important texts he wrote, the Jewel Ornament of Liberation is probably the most significant. Gampopa said, "For anyone who wishes to see me, studying the Jewel Ornament of Liberation and the precious garland of the excellent path is the same as meeting me." So the Jewel Ornament of Liberation acts as Gampopa's region in these times. In this book you will find a complete form of Buddhism, right from the starting point, the ground where you enter the path until you achieve Buddhahood and manifest activities for the benefit of infinite sentient beings. The first English translation of this work was done by Professor Herbert Gunther in 1959. His dedication and initiative have made this text well known to Westerners, and many people have received great benefit from his generous efforts. I rejoice in and respect his wonderful work. Because of this translation, I was encouraged by many students to start teaching the Jewel Ornament of Liberation. During classes, I translated directly from the Tibetan into my simple English while getting support for difficult passages from Professor Gunther's book. In this way, it took us about 2.5 years to go through the text together. Many students expressed how much benefit they received from this uncomplicated presentation. So, with the idea that others might also benefit, we decided to publish this translation. So, you readers don't have to consult so many different sources. Translations of the life story of Dharma Lord Gampopa and the stories referred to in the text are also included here. They are from the Benduriya Tratsom, compiled by the Venerable Khenpo Lodro Donyo, one of my best friends during my school years. His book is very helpful when you study the Jewel Ornament of Liberation because it fills in all the gaps. In the 7th, 8th, 10th, 11th, and 12th centuries in Tibet, many enlightened translators rendered Buddhism into Tibetan from Sanskrit. The Buddhist text we currently have in Tibetan can be translated almost exactly back into Sanskrit without losing any of the original meaning. This was possible because the Tibetan language is very rich and parallels Sanskrit very well. In addition, they were able to translate and retranslate texts many times. There were 3 basic styles of translation in those days: literal for meaning and both literal and meaning combined. Most great translators made the effort to translate the literal text and the meaning together. We made every effort here to translate in this way, but due to the limitations of the English language as well as the very profound meaning of the Dharma, this translation can still be improved in the future. The Jewel Ornament of Liberation is one of the books that I cherish most. I had the great good fortune to receive this precious teaching from the acclaimed master Kunulama Rinpoche, Tenzin Gyaltshen. I received Vajrayana teachings, including the Fivefold Path of Mahamudra, from the eminent retreat master Kunga Rinpoche during my 3-year retreat. From the enlightened retreat master Pachang Rinpoche, I received the 6 yogas of Naropa, Mahamudra, and many other instructions and transmissions. Kunulama Rinpoche was born in northern India. He was a consummate scholar of Sanskrit. In addition, he went to Tibet and studied with many eminent teachers from the different schools, gaining understanding in all aspects of knowledge, both conventional and absolute. Later, he fully dedicated his life to retreat, renouncing all worldly concerns in order to embody the teachings he had studied. Since studying with him, I myself have made efforts to understand this book. I have given teachings on it to monks in different monasteries on several occasions, and even to Western Dharma students. Many hundreds of years have passed, lifestyles and cultures have changed, but pure Buddhism, the teachings about suffering and the causes of suffering, happiness, peace, and their causes, does not change. Even though this book was written in Tibet in the 11th century, it remains relevant to the 21st century Western world with its highly developed material and scientific technologies. I find that Gampopa's wisdom accords very well with modern scientific theories. Gampopa based his text on Atisha's lamp for the path to enlightenment. Kuno Lama Rinpoche said that this was the first great Lamrim text written in Tibet, and that all the latter great Lamrim texts were based on the Jewel Ornament of Liberation. Therefore, all the different Buddhist schools in Tibet study it. This is a critically important text to study as a foundation for the traditional 3-year retreat. The 21 chapters in this book systematically lay out the path that must be traveled to reach Buddhahood. No more, no less. If you miss one step, the goal cannot be achieved. More is not needed. The route is complete. This book is a pith instruction, not an extensive commentary, not with hidden meaning, just precise and consistent teachings. Everyone who is interested in Buddhism can study this and apply it in their practice. If you study this text thoroughly, you will gain an understanding of the complete form of the stages of Buddhism. Don't expect to understand everything just by reading it once or twice. As His Holiness the Dalai Lama emphasizes, it is best to rely on an authentic teacher and to practice in order to understand the full depth of this great work. A synopsis of Part 1 in the translator's introduction. Part 1, The Primary Cause, Chapter 1, Buddha Nature. This book starts with Buddha nature, which is the primary cause or seed for one to attain Buddhahood. Without that cause, no matter how much effort one made, there would not be any progress. For example, on a farm, if there is no seed, no matter how much one cultivates and fertilizes, nothing will grow. But if there is a seed, the primary cause, then the seed will sprout when it meets the right contributory causes, and eventually it will bear fruit. On the other hand, even if there is a seed, if it doesn't meet all the required causes and conditions, it will not sprout or grow. Similarly, even though all sentient beings are completely permeated with Buddha nature, the seed of enlightenment, success depends on the individual. If one doesn't apply the necessary causes, it will take some time to manifest the desired result. To illustrate this another way, the mustard seed is permeated by oil. There is no difference between the oil in the seed and that in the jar. One is not better than the other, but until it is actually produced from the mustard seed, it cannot be called oil. In order to produce the oil, all the necessary causes and conditions are required. First, one must know that there is oil in the mustard seed, then know how to extract the oil, and finally know how to apply effort properly. Through that, one will get oil. Similarly, even though all sentient beings are permeated with Buddha nature, we cannot be called Buddha until we actualize Buddhahood. So, to attain Buddhahood, we first have to know that we contain Buddha nature, the complete potential, which is no different from the Buddha's nature. This is a way to establish self-esteem and break the attitudes of hopelessness and discouragement. On the basis of this confidence, one should apply these progressive stages as an instrument to fully manifest the nature of perfect enlightenment. Due to individuals' interest and courage, some attain enlightenment sooner than others. Therefore, Dharma Lord Gampopa laid out 5 different families. Lord Jigten Sumgun said, Buddha nature is inherently pure and possesses all the excellent qualities of the Buddha. This Vajra speech is explained in further detail in his Konchog text. What is the significance of the fact that all sentient beings are permeated by Buddha nature? It means that no matter how ruthless one may be, one still has some loving kindness and compassion. at least toward one's own family. When the sun is in the sky, no matter how thick the cloud cover, some dim light still shines through. Similarly, our Buddha nature cannot be completely obscured, so we all must have the potential to progress toward and to fully manifest Buddhahood. To understand Buddha nature in detail, study the Unsurpassed Tantra Shastra by Buddha Maitreya. There are also several sutras and commentaries on this topic.